In the last episode, you saw me filling gaps using an ultraviolet light and some resin. Well, today I'm going to show you a tiny little gadget that is absolutely cheap as chips that's going to make this so much easier. So this little gadget here is called a precision bottle, and it's basically a squidgy little plastic bottle. It's got a screw on and off lid. It's got a plastic, kind of like a syringe end to it, and this will allow you to be more precise with where you put your resin for the resin sealing. So the first thing we're going to do is fill it up, and I'm going to use my trusty Cyril the syringe.
Now, if you haven't got Cyril the syringe, you need to get one of these. These are absolutely fabulous. Loads of uses in 3D printing. Check the description to where you can get one from. And I'm going to use Cyril to get all that resin out the cap, and I'm going to fill the bottle right up to the top. Now, the good thing about these little precision bottles is a little bit goes a long way, so you're not going to need to fill it up very often. But there you go, fill it all the way up, get as much as you can in there using your wonderful syringe, and job done. Now, once it's in there, make sure you get the top on, and remember it's resin, keep it out of direct sunlight. Now, for the first demonstration of this wonderful little gadget, I'm going to be using this Gladiator model here, and where the arms join the body, you can see there's quite a substantial gap, and I thought that would be ideal to try this new method out. So what I would have done in the old days is I'd used a toothpick with a little bit of resin on, dipped it in and out to get it to seal, but now using this really easy to apply precision bottle with that lovely little metal syringe, I can literally guide in the resin to where I need it, and I'm not going to have to go backwards and forwards to dip in and dip out, because there's shed loads within that bottle, and that will go a long way. And once it's in there, I'm going to cure it using my UV light. Just look how easy it is to be precise with that gap filling. It is so easy to get it in the places you want. You're not going to run out. The thing with this trick is to use speed. Now, you'll probably see me at times actually dropping the bottle down once I've filled it up, but that's because I need to make sure that I cure it before it starts to settle into the gap too much. So once it's in there, get your UV light and cure it, and it's just so easy. Now, here I've got a larger gap in my R2D2 model. It just didn't print right in this section, so I'm going to be using exactly the same technique to fill this up. And as I say, you need to make sure that you do it quite speedily, really. You don't want to allow that resin to just fall into the gap and vanish into your model. So speed is of the essence here. Now, you could, in theory, with this bit, use a little bit of resin mixed with some talcum powder to fill it in there, or you could use some filler or wood filler or some milliput or green stuff, whatever. But I just thought I'd show you that this will do the trick. Now, you can see that it is sealing in there, and again, you are going to need a couple of layers to get it to work, but it will seal gaps of this nature quite easily and quite efficiently. And don't forget, there's plenty of resin in that little reservoir, so you haven't got to go backwards and forwards to your resin with your toothpick to dip it in and dip it out. It's just there on demand, right when you need it. You use the little dropper bottle, pop it in there and cure it. It's an absolutely easy peasy process. Now, like any filling of any gaps in any model, you're going to need to do a bit of post-prep work, and we're going to need to do a little bit of sanding on this model, but that is no different to anything else. But it's the application of the actual resin to fill the gap which is the easy part, and this is the bit that takes time. Now, you can also see that as you add resin in there, it does kind of settle. If you just give it a second or two, it will settle to allow it to fall into the gaps and make it quite smooth. And for a big gap like that in an R2D2 body, I was really chuffed about how easy it was to fill. And you can just keep giving it layer after layer, build those layers slowly, and away you go. Marvellous. I'm just going to use a little bit of 400 grit sandpaper just to sand it down and get rid of those rough edges. I think the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. But when you've got a gap like that in a model, you need to do something about it. And this is just a quick and easy way of doing it. You've got resin to hand, you've got your little dropper bottle that you've got to hand as well, and you can just do it nice and easy. Now, the thing with these dropper bottles is once you've finished with it, you can use it again and again. You can store it somewhere, so you haven't got to keep messing around. It's a sealed sealed container, and the resin will stay in there as long as you keep it nice and dark. And we are ready to just give it another little drop. As you do normally when you're filling, you give it your first sand, you'll see a little inadequacy here and there, and you can just fill it again, sand it down, job done. Now this little bit of Boba Fett here looks like he's gone toe to toe with another bounty hunter and lost. Well, I'm going to use exactly the same technique to fill this. I'm just going to show you that you can fill a hole using this technique. You're not going to fill it in one go, of course you're not, but I'm going to drop a little bit in there. I'm going to seal it really quickly so it starts to fill that hole, and I'm just going to repeat the process over and over until it fills it completely. Now it's not going to take you long, it's not going to take hours and hours, it's only going to take minutes to get it done, but it will build slowly, and that's what you want. So the hole in this, I think this was caused from me being a bit of a plonker and just pressing the hole in the wrong place in Chitu box, and it's just appeared at the end of the print. I don't really know how it's got there, but it's there, and you're going to get problems and you're going to get discrepancies in your prints, but just look how easy it is to rectify them. There's a little bit of a gap next to it as well, which I'm going to fill, and I'm going to seal that with my UV light, and that is rock solid done. So we know it fills gaps, we know it fills long cracks, and now we know it fills holes too. Easy. Does the same job on all your problems. Your one go-to solution. Again, you've got other options on the table, but this will work if you need a quick fix and an easy fix. Now once it's in there, you're going to need to do some post-prep work, and I'm just going to use this Army Painter file to file it down. I want a nice straight edge along the top ridge of his helmet, and as you can see, there it is, done and dusted. The hole has been filled, you cannot see it, it is perfect. That print has been saved using just some resin and this precision bottle. Wonderful. And once you've finished with it, make sure that you seal it, put the little thing on the top, the little cap, and put it in a light proof container and put it away. Now you can put loads of them in there, all different resins, and come to the one you want when you want it. Marvellous.
Well, there you go, greedy 3Ders. I think you'll agree that little bit of kit, which is so inexpensive, this precision bottle really will make filling your gaps a lot easier. I'll put a link in the description where you can get them from, and if you buy it from me, a little bit will kick back to the channel and just help me create videos like this that I'm hoping you enjoy. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to the channel. You can have a look at our Patreon, and I'd like to welcome our latest member to the Patreon, Rex Waldy. Thank you, Rex, and thanks to everybody else in the Patreon for supporting me and allowing me to keep the lights on and continue making videos for you. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. I hope you found it useful. Cheap, inexpensive things that make 3D printing easier. It's a win-win. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Greedy 3D.